Welcome back for another video. It's a chip special this week and the second to last experts video of the season. We've got 3 hits, bench boost and triple captainships active. As always, we're going to run through the transfers the top managers are making this week, their picks for captaincy, the experts team and more. Just one more experts video to come, but make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on this series to guide you through next season. Let's get into it. Kicking off with the manager highlight as always, FPL Flair is top of the experts league after a score of 97 points. Goes to show just how stacked the top ranks are. 97 points, not enough for a green arrow, although he's still well inside the top 1k. Did you manage to beat the experts average score of 100? There's lots of moving parts this week, so let's break it all down. 10% are rolling the transfer and taking 2 transfers into Gameweek 38, which is never a bad idea. With 10 games kicking off at the same time next weekend, there could be an absolute load of early team news to act accordingly on. Last season, Haaland was benched in Gameweek 38 for example, though admittedly a different scenario with the league wrapped up and City in the Champions League final. 40% are making 1 transfer, 31% making 2, 11% are making 3, and one expert's gone aggressive with 4 transfers from -8 here. 7% have got a chip active this week, either the wildcard or the free hit, more on that later. So ahead of the double game week, who are the most bought and sold players among the experts? You might be surprised by the most transferred in player, it's Richarlison. 20% have picked him up. There's actually a lot pointing towards Richarlison being a very good move this week. First of all, he's 3% owned, so it's a massive differential. He faces Burnley first, who have to win or they're relegated. So Burnley playing for goals could equate to an open game. And in Gameweek 38, Spurs have got rock bottom Sheffield United of all teams, who have smashed the record for most goals conceded in a Premier League season ever. He's 6.8 mil before you check. Bruno's one of the most sold players. He missed United's last game, and he wasn't seen in the most recent training photos. In fact, Man United specifically welcomed Martinez and Rashford back to training after injury, and there was no mention of Bruno, which is damning. Maguire's the most sold player, not expected to play again this season in the league. The top replacements picked by the experts are Burn, Vardiol, Porro, Romero and Dunk. A few have gone for Trippier, who is reportedly back in training, though there's no guarantee of a start straight away. It is a big risk to take on, but if you're chasing upside at this point, it's certainly a huge upside. He's in basically no active teams at this point in time, and he's got a solid double game week, home to Brighton and away to Man United. More transfers in for Vardiol this week, who's proven to be by far the best City defender to own, and he's cheaper than the likes of Walker and Diaz. City are home to West Ham in Gameweek 38 as well, which is another nice fixture. It's important not to get completely blindsided by these doubles, especially when it comes to chucking the likes of Arsenal players out your team. Gusto's an interesting one. 8% have sold him despite the double game week. In my opinion, it's very unlikely that he starts both games, so I would actually consider selling if I had him, as it could essentially be a single game week for him. And Chalobah's been very good in right back, so it's something to think over if you're a Gusto owner. For the last time this season, onto the chip overview. After lots of chip strategies diverging throughout the season, they've all ended up on the same place now with all the chips used. One manager's got their wildcard active, 6% with a free hit active, 4% with triple captain active, and a massive 84% bench boost in this week. All 4 triple captaincies are on Haaland for anyone curious. Adam, or FPL Berg as he goes by, has his free hit active. He's a maverick manager when it comes to chip strategy, and nonetheless he's in the top 10k currently. His free hit team is Petrovic in goal, Vardiol, Porro and Trippier in defence. In midfield he's got Madueke, Gordon, Foden, Son and Palmer, and up top he's got Isak and Haaland captain. Vicario, Trent, João Pedro and Dunk on his bench. Here's what he had to say. I often find myself taking a different chip strategy to the crowd, and this season's been no different. I was able to navigate blank Gameweek 29 without the free hit, which I got away with, and I plumped for the bench boost instead of the free hit in Gameweek 34, which went well despite the Palmer and Haaland no-shows, thanks to Branthwaite's 20-pointer. With the free hit in hand, I actually had the majority of the template players already, so I did consider saving the chip for the final day, but I think I can have a bit of fun this week and capitalise on any late team news. I'm not yet settled on this free hit 11, and I may opt for Kevin De Bruyne, Jackson and or Richarlison, or maybe even a single game weeker like Trent, but I think Trippier and Madueke could be really exciting picks this week. I'm sitting at just below 9k rank, and 30 plus points behind one of my key mini-leagues. I was caught in a bit of quandary over whether to go with the strong template or take a few calculated risks. I'm drawn towards the latter. So that's an expert's free hit, and Jason Fleming's also having an outstanding season. He's just outside the top 1k in the world, and he's got his bench boost active with a -4 hit lined up. His team is Anana, Pedro Porro, Vardiol, Burn, Palmer, Son, Fernandes, Foden, Petrovic, Garnacho, White and Gabriel. Here's what he had to say. Currently on the outskirts of the top 1k, and like 84% of the top 10k, I've got the bench boost chip left to play. The plan moves are Areola to Petrovic and Reguilon to Burn for a -4 to give me 13 doublers, along with the double Arsenal defence. I'm acutely aware of the decision to adopt the wildcard 28 and free hit 34 strategy has made it difficult to build towards bench boost 37, and it's left me with a slightly less optimal team than those on the wildcard 35. However, I'm hopeful I've covered enough of the key players to the rest of the pack to maintain rank. Much of the side picks itself, and it will bear similarities to other bench boost 37 sides seen this game week, particularly midfield and attack. The decision to select Vardy as my third City player has proven rather fruitful and fortunate in the past few game weeks. There aren't many defenders out there that impress me enough to warrant the switch from the double Arsenal defence, and therefore I'll be keeping White and Gabriel for the home fixture in Game Week 38. The key omission in my current side is evidently Newcastle's Anthony Gordon, who I anticipate will be above 70% EO and a major rank killer. Should Fernandes be ruled out, I'll likely make a move for Gordon. Otherwise, I'm quite content with the rest of the team, which should hold me in good stead for the double. Good luck all. Thanks for sending in, gents, and good luck this week. Let's move on to double Game Week 37 captaincy. It's the last big opportunity to go differential. How many of the experts are? Well, not many to be honest. 94% are captain in Haaland. And honestly, that's probably why they've got consistent top finishes, like 5 top 100s, 55 top 1Ks, and 344 top 10Ks between them. A season-long accumulation of doing the sensible, or quote-unquote boring, and safe thing can gradually take you up the ranks. It's up to each of us to play FPL how we want. Some get joy going differential every week, while others are happy playing sensible for 38 game weeks with a slow burner approach. At this stage, 15 of our experts are in the top 5k, and 31 are in the top 10k. 3% are captain in Isak, and then it's De Bruyne, Madueke and Son being captained by 1 each. FPL review projections have Haaland top this week with 13.3 points, followed by Son, De Bruyne, Foden, Palmer and Isak. If you haven't already, make sure you watch the players to buy video from earlier this week for the top players by position. It does take a brave manager to skip Haaland for captaincy this week after scoring 4 goals last match. Best of luck if that's you this week. On to the experts team for Game Week 37. Here's how they're lined up this week with the bench boost active. It's Ederson in goal, Dalot, Porro, Burn in defence, Foden, Bruno, Gordon, Palmer, Son in midfield, Isak and Haaland up top. And on the bench is Petrovic, Jackson, White and Gabriel. It's an unreal team this week. The only question marks really are Dalot with United defence absolute shambles at the moment and Bruno's availability. However, there is a third Spurs slot available with Richarlison's name on it if need be. So 13 out of the 15 with a double game week here. Be careful not to fall into the trap of wanting to maximise doubler just for the sake of it. For example, I wouldn't sell your only Arsenal defender or Saka unless you've got 2 transfers and can buy them straight back in 38. Otherwise you only end up regretting it in Game Week 38 when Arsenal home to Everton. Let us know in the comments how many players have you got in common with the experts team this week. Finishing up with the experts tips and final thoughts for this double game week. Root Cause says, if you're trying to get above your mini-league rival, you've got 2 game weeks left to make it happen. It's time to take a risk, bring in a differential they likely won't have, and maybe even captain that player. Risk versus reward is what it's all about at this stage. Go big or go home, as they say. Matt Brooks says, for those looking at defensive transfers of injuries, don't be afraid to look beyond the double game week players. I think Branthwaite and Arsenal defence have just as good a chance of returning as United and Spurs defenders even over 2 games. Rohan agrees and says, Arsenal and Everton defenders are going to outscore all the Dublin defenders, aren't they? FPL Sharmanator says, the biggest game week of the season is here. Don't be afraid to take hits for players who are doubling, especially if you're selling a single game week player or a non-starter. The ceiling is quite high, as we saw in double game week 34, and we won't be surprised to see 150 plus point scores flying around. And lastly, FPL Fish says, Bruno's going to cause a headache for those of us on the bench boost this week. If we hear he's out, I'll likely bring Saka or Havertz in for him. If he's fit, then I'll roll the transfers, as 2 for 38 could be important if we get lots of rotation. Thanks for watching. Unfortunately, I'm away for a friend's stag do this weekend, so I'm not going to be able to do the usual deadline stream. Who organises a stag do in a double game week? Anyway, I'll be back next week for the final week of the season. Good luck everyone, see you soon for the next one.